The arena of blood and blades. The twin suns of planet Synthera burned bright over the grand arena. Thousands of alien voices screamed in excitement. Warriors from different planets had already fought today. Some had won, most had bled. The sand below was red, not from the sun, but from blood. Today, there was something different. A human was about to enter the ring. "Bring out the Earth Slave." A deep voice echoed from the loudspeakers. Guards opened a heavy steel gate. A tall man walked into the arena. His name was Cole Maddox. His hands were cuffed. His back had fresh whip marks. His eyes, however, were calm. He didn't look scared. He looked focused. The crowd booed and laughed. "Look at the human. He won't last a minute. Feed him to the blades." But Cole said nothing. He stood in the center and looked around slowly. This wasn't the first time he had stared death in the face. Across from him, a large gate opened, and out stepped Princess Calra, the warrior heir of the Xantheran Empire. Her armor shined black and silver. Her eyes glowed red. In her hand she held a sharp spinning blade. It hummed like a hungry machine. She raised her arm, and the crowd went silent. "Today, we test the strength of Earth's last soldier," she announced loudly. "Let the blood speak." Cole didn't flinch. His hands were still chained, but he met her eyes. Calra smirked. "You won't need your hands to scream." Then she threw the blade. It flew through the air like a flash of lightning. Fast, deadly, sharp enough to cut through stone. Everyone expected it to end right there. The humans always died first. It was just for sport. But something happened that no one expected. Cole moved. Not fast, not with panic, but with purpose. He stepped slightly to the left, reached up, and caught the blade with his bare hand. It sliced deep into his palm. Blood poured down his fingers, but he held it. Tightly, firmly. The entire arena gasped. Even Calra froze. Her mouth opened slightly. Her glowing eyes narrowed. She stepped forward, confused. "How?" she whispered. Cole looked down at the blade in his hand. His blood dripped on the sand. He looked back up at her. "I thought this was a fight," he said calmly, "not a game." The silence was thick. The crowd didn't know how to react. For the first time in years, a human had done something more than just scream and die. Calra slowly walked to him, her boots crunching the sand. Her face was unreadable. "Who taught you that move?" she asked quietly. Cole didn't answer. He simply dropped the blade at her feet. She looked down, then back up, and to everyone's shock, she smiled. "I've been searching for a worthy mate," she said, loud enough for all to hear, "and now I found one." The crowd gasped again, this time louder. "What? Is she serious?" "He's a human." Calra turned to face the watching nobles and soldiers. "You heard me," she said proudly. "This man caught my blade with no armor, no power, and no fear. That makes him stronger than any prince in this galaxy." She turned back to Cole. "Tell me your name." "Cole Maddox," he replied. She nodded. "Cole Maddox of Earth, I want your hand. In marriage." Cole blinked. He looked around at the angry faces, the confused guards, and the shocked crowd. Was this some kind of trick? But Calra was serious. She extended her hand. Cole didn't take it yet. He simply asked, "Why?" Her voice softened. "Because I've never met someone who made me feel uncertain. Until now." He looked at her face. She wasn't mocking him. She wasn't playing. This was real. And that scared him more than the blade. The arena was silent. The warrior princess had just asked a human slave to marry her. And Cole Maddox, bleeding and confused, was now the center of a story that would shake the galaxy. The human who could bleed like a king. The palace of Xanthera was made of black stone and glowing crystal. Its walls rose high into the sky, guarded by energy towers and soldiers in silver armor. No human had ever walked inside these halls as a guest, until now. Cole Maddox was not chained anymore, but he didn't feel free. Alien eyes followed his every move. Soldiers kept their weapons close. Servants whispered behind his back. They couldn't believe it. A human, in the royal chambers, chosen by Princess Calera herself. Cole walked through a wide corridor with golden fire floating in the air. 2 tall guards led him to a private chamber, Calera's war room. The doors opened with a hiss. She was waiting. Calera stood near a glass map that showed star systems in motion. Her armor was off, replaced by a long robe. But she still looked powerful, like a flame that couldn't be touched. "You came," she said, turning to him. "I didn't have much choice," Cole answered. She gave a small smile. "You had a choice. You caught my blade. You could have killed me." "I didn't come here to kill anyone." Calera nodded. "Exactly why I chose you." Cole didn't respond right away. His hand was bandaged. The pain was sharp, but he didn't show it. He wasn't afraid of pain. He was afraid of what was happening. "I need to understand something," he said finally. "Why did you really ask me to marry you?" Calera walked closer. Her voice was softer now. "Do you know how many warriors have challenged me? How many princes tried to win my hand?" "I imagine. A lot. They all failed. Not because they were weak, but because they didn't surprise me. You did." Cole raised an eyebrow. "Because I bled." She shook her head. "Because you didn't scream." Meanwhile, in the upper chambers, the royal council gathered. Old alien leaders sat in a circle, their faces angry and nervous. "This cannot happen," one of them shouted. "The princess has lost her mind. A human as her consort. That's madness. He must be eliminated." Quietly. In the shadows, a tall figure stepped forward. His face was hidden beneath a metal mask. He spoke slowly. "Let the game continue. Let him believe he belongs. And then, let him fall." Back in the war room, Calera sat beside Cole, handing him a drink made from purple fruit. "You are not like the other humans brought here," she said. "I was a soldier once. On Earth. Before your people captured me," Cole replied. "What happened?" "My unit tried to stop one of your harvest ships. We lost. I survived. Barely." Calera looked down. "I was told humans were simple, weak, easy to break. But you carry yourself like a king." Cole looked at her carefully. "Why are you telling me this?" She paused. "Because I want to show you something." She walked to a wall and pressed her hand against a hidden panel. A part of the wall slid open, revealing a long black case. Inside it was a second blade, shaped like the one Cole had caught, but older, worn. "This blade belonged to my ancestor," she said. "She was the first warrior queen of Tenthara. But this isn't from our world. It was given to her by a human." Cole stepped closer, shocked. "What?" Calera nodded. "Long ago, humans came to this galaxy. They were powerful, brave, and full of fire. Then they disappeared. We thought they were gone forever. Until you." Cole looked down at the blade. It had ancient markings. He recognized some of them. "My grandfather used to draw symbols like these," he said. "He said they came from the old world. We thought it was just a myth." Calera stared at him. "Maybe you're more than a soldier, Cole Maddox. Maybe you're a legacy." That night, Cole stayed in a guest chamber. It was beautiful. Floating lights, soft walls, music that played by thought. But he didn't sleep. He stood by the window, looking at the twin moons of Tenthara. His mind was full of questions. Was this some alien trick, or was it fate? Suddenly, he heard a sound. A whisper, a shift in the air. He turned, just in time to dodge a blade. An assassin, dressed in black, moving fast. Cole grabbed a chair and used it as a shield. The assassin swung again. Cole fought back, using quick moves from his Earth training. The fight was rough. Cole was cut across the ribs, but he managed to knock the attacker's weapon away and slam him into the wall. Guards burst in moments later, capturing the assassin. Caldera arrived soon after. Her eyes were full of fire. "Who sent you?" she demanded. The assassin didn't speak. Caldera looked at Cole. "Are you hurt?" "I've had worse," he said, breathing hard. She looked at his blood again. Her hands shook, but not from fear. She was angry. "Someone wants you dead," she said, "because they fear what you mean." Cole nodded slowly. "I'm starting to fear it too." Secrets of the Royal Blade. The sky above Xanthera was dark. Storm clouds moved like ghosts across the twin moons. Inside the royal palace, torches lit the hallways with soft purple light. The wind howled, but Cole Maddox didn't hear it. He was inside a quiet room with Princess Caldera, staring at the blade from her ancestor, the one that was not of alien origin. "This blade is human," he said again, his fingers gently running across its cold, dark edge. "Yes," Caldera whispered, "but no one believes me. No one wants to." Cole studied the ancient symbols carved into the metal. Some looked like the old Earth alphabet. Others were older, like the kind found in lost ruins deep in the deserts of his world. "I've seen these markings before," he said slowly. "Back on Earth, in a hidden place my grandfather showed me when I was a boy." Caldera looked surprised. "Your people still kept these signs?" "Not many," he replied. "Most people forgot. We thought they were just old stories. My grandfather believed Earth once sent ships far into space, but everyone laughed at him." Caldera stood still, as if her mind was racing. Maybe he was right. Ancient records. Caldera brought out an old scroll from a secret drawer beneath the blade's case. The scroll was written in both alien and broken human language. She laid it gently on the table between them. "This scroll has been passed down through my bloodline," she said. "It speaks of a pact between the warrior queen of Xanthera and a human captain named J. Maddox." Cole's breath caught in his throat. "That's my last name," he said. "My family name." Caldera nodded. "I believe you are his descendant." Cole sat down slowly, staring at the scroll. According to the writing, the human captain had helped save Xanthera from a dark enemy centuries ago. As a gift, the queen had given him the royal blade, half of a twin weapon. One was kept with the queen. The other returned with him to Earth. But then, contact was lost. The stars grew silent, and Earth faded into myth. Caldera touched Cole's hand softly. "Maybe you're not just a fighter. Maybe you're part of something much bigger." Training and trust. Over the next few days, Caldera invited Cole to join her during battle training. She wanted to see what he could do, not just in a fight, but in leadership. At first, the alien warriors mocked him. "A human, leading us. This is a joke." But that changed quickly. Cole didn't yell. He didn't try to show off. He simply demonstrated swift moves, smart tactics, calm decisions. When one warrior tried to attack him by surprise, Cole dropped him in 2 seconds flat. Caldera smiled quietly. The others began to nod in respect. In private, she watched him more closely. Not just how he fought, but how he carried himself. He didn't act like someone who wanted power. He didn't care about titles. He cared about doing what was right. "You could be a king," she told him one evening. "I don't want to be a king," he replied. "But I won't run from the truth either." They stood near the edge of a sky bridge, watching the lights of the city below. Their hands brushed. Neither pulled away. Another attack, from inside. But peace didn't last. Late one night, an explosion rocked the eastern tower of the palace. Cole and Caldera rushed to the scene. Smoke filled the air. Fire danced across the walls. Inside the war chamber, a symbol was burned into the floor. Cole froze. "I've seen this before," he said. "On Earth. In the ruins." It was the mark of the Vrask, a forgotten alien race that once fought both humans and Xantherans long ago. Calra's voice was tight. They were wiped out. That's what history says. History was wrong, Cole replied. They're back, and they know who I am. A spy among them. The next morning, Calra held a secret meeting. Only 5 people were allowed inside. We have a traitor, she said. Someone inside this palace is feeding the Vrask information. Her top general stepped forward. It could be a servant, or worse, one of the council. Calra looked at Cole. They're not just after you because you're human. They're afraid of the truth you carry. If you really are from that ancient bloodline, you're the key to uniting the stars. Cole didn't want power. He never had. But now, it was clear. He couldn't walk away. If we're going to stop them, he said, we need to find the second blade. The one my ancestor took back to Earth. Calra's eyes widened. But Earth is forbidden. No ship has gone there in over 100 years. Cole looked her dead in the eyes. Then it's time someone went back. The human legacy buried in space. The ship was silent. Cole Maddox stood near the main viewport, watching the stars slip by like sparks on black water. The Royal Starcruiser, the Ember Wing, was gliding at light speed toward the edge of the known galaxy, toward a place most aliens feared, toward a world no one had touched in 100 years. Earth. Calra stood beside him, her expression unreadable. Behind them, the crew moved carefully. Only a few trusted soldiers and engineers were chosen for this secret journey. The mission was too dangerous, too delicate. If the Centauran Council discovered it, they would try to stop it. If the Vrask knew, they would try to kill them all. Cole placed his hand on the glass. I never thought I'd see it again. Calra looked at him gently. What do you remember about Earth? He smiled, but there was sadness in his eyes. Not much. The forests, the smell of rain, and my grandfather's stories about warriors who protected the stars. Calra nodded slowly. Maybe you were always meant to return. Arrival at a dead world. After 6 days of silent travel, the ship entered Earth's orbit. What they saw chilled everyone. The planet was dark. No city lights, no space traffic, no communication signals, just broken satellites and empty space stations, floating like tombstones. What happened here? One soldier whispered. Cole stared in shock. It's abandoned. Calra leaned forward. This is not what the records said. They told us Earth went silent. Not dead. They scanned the surface. Most of the cities were buried under plants, dust, and time. But one place still showed faint energy, deep in the mountains of what was once the American West. Take us there, Cole said. The ship descended quietly, avoiding orbit scanners and old defense satellites. They landed in a wide, empty valley covered in fog and vines. The Maddox bunker. Cole stepped onto Earth soil for the first time in years. The air was cold, but breathable. Nature had taken back everything. Trees grew over old roads. Deer ran freely between rusted cars. I remember this place, Cole said, walking slowly. My family had a cabin here. My grandfather used to take me every summer. They walked for an hour through the woods until they found it. A half-buried building. Steel doors. A hidden entrance under a stone slab. The Maddox family bunker. Cole placed his hand on the door panel. Surprisingly, it still worked. The scanner blinked, then clicked open. Inside, everything was dusty but preserved. Shelves of old books, hand-drawn maps, a table with tools, and on the wall, an old photograph of a soldier holding the same blade Calra had shown him. That's him, Cole said softly. J. Maddox, the first one. Calra stepped forward and touched the photo. He looks like you. They found a hidden compartment behind the wall. Inside it, wrapped in leather and cloth, was the second blade, the twin to Calra's royal weapon. Cole held it with shaking hands. It was heavier than he expected, and warm. It recognizes you, Calra said quietly, just like mine does for me. The truth in the blood. In a back room of the bunker, they found something else. An old DNA scanner. With trembling fingers, Cole placed a drop of his blood on the plate. The machine blinked to life. Make TCH Barehanded. GNETAC LINAG so HFY or need. J Mad Docs. Royal ALINC VLOD NAMARK. Cole stepped back. His heart pounded. I'm really his descendant, he said. It's not just a story. Keldra smiled softly. That makes you more than a soldier. You are the last heir of the Earth-Synthera alliance. You are a symbol of unity. Cole stared at the twin blades in his hands. What if I'm not ready for that? You don't have to be ready, she replied. You just have to be willing. The attack from shadows. That night, as the crew rested and Keldra stood guard near the ship, a shadow moved through the forest. The trees shook. The animals fled. From the mist, tall black figures emerged, silent, armored, with glowing red eyes. The Vrask. They had followed the Ember Wing. They had waited. And now, they attacked. Cole woke to the sound of screaming. He grabbed both blades, his ancestors' and Keldra's, and ran outside. Fire lit the forest. Keldra was already fighting, her blade slicing through the air. 3 Vrasks surrounded her. More were moving toward the ship. Cole joined the battle without hesitation. He moved fast. The blades felt natural in his hands, like they belonged. Keldra saw him fighting and her heart leaped, not just with pride, but with something deeper. He wasn't just defending himself. He was protecting his legacy. A message from the past. After a brutal fight, they drove the Vrask back. But before they fled, one of the dying enemies whispered something to Cole. You were never supposed to return. Then he dropped a device into Cole's hands. It lit up, projecting a hologram, a message from long ago. A human general appeared. His armor was damaged. His voice was desperate. If you're seeing this, it means the pact has failed. The Vrask broke the peace. Earth was destroyed to protect the rest of the galaxy. But one bloodline survived. You. If you carry the blade, the galaxy still has hope. Cole and Keldra stood in silence. Everything had changed. Cole was no longer just a survivor. He was the last spark of an ancient promise. And now, everyone would want that spark extinguished. War of the Thrones begins. The sky above Earth was burning red. Smoke rose from the trees where the battle had ended hours ago. The Vrask had retreated, but they had left a message behind, one written in blood and fire. Cole Maddox stood near the Ember Wing, his body sore, his clothes torn, both blades strapped to his back. He had survived fights before. He had bled. He had killed. But this time, something was different. He wasn't just a fighter anymore. He was a symbol, a leader, and the galaxy wasn't ready for him. The Council's betrayal. Back on Synthera, the royal palace buzzed with angry voices. The High Council had discovered the truth. Keldra had left the planet with a human. She had gone to Forbidden Earth. And now, their ancient enemy, the Vrask, had returned. This is all because of her, one elder hissed. She brings shame to the throne. She wants to crown a human. Madness. In the shadows, Counselor Veron, the one who had hired the assassin, stepped forward. It's time we act. While she's gone, we declare her unfit to rule. We choose a new heir. But who? Veron smiled coldly. Me. Return to chaos. When Cole and Keldra returned to Synthera with their crew, the sky above the capital was already filled with warships. Keldra's home was under siege. The council had declared her a traitor. They claimed she had broken sacred law by leaving with Cole. They said she was no longer fit to be heir. Soldiers loyal to Veron had taken the palace. The people were confused. Some believed the council. Others waited to hear the truth. Keldra stood at the bridge of her ship, her face calm, but her eyes fierce. "They stole my throne," she said, "and they will pay." Cole stood beside her. "You're not alone." She looked at him. "This is not your fight, Cole. It became mine the moment I caught your blade," he said quietly. "And the moment you caught my heart." She blinked at his words, but there was no time for feelings. There was a war coming. The spark of rebellion. Caldera sent a secret message to loyal commanders still hiding in the outer systems. Within days, hundreds of smaller ships joined her. Exiles, warriors, and rebels. They believed in her. And more importantly, they believed in Cole. Videos of Cole holding the twin blades, one from Xanthura, one from Earth, spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Some cheered. Others grew silent in fear. A new prophecy began to whisper through the stars. Two blades, one blood, a fire that unites what was broken. But Varan was prepared. He used fear to control the people. He told them Cole was dangerous, that the human bloodline would bring ruin to the stars. That Caldera had been corrupted. "They are coming," Varan said to his generals. "Let them. We'll bury them in space." The first clash. The Ember Wing led the rebel fleet into orbit. Cole stood in armor now, dark and silver, with both blades strapped to his back. Not a king, not a prince, but something new. A guardian. Caldera stood beside him in full battle gear. Together, they prepared for the assault on the capital. Explosions lit the sky. Fighter ships zipped between cruisers, lasers flashing across the void. Cole fought like a storm, quick, brutal, precise. He led squadrons, planned attacks, protected his team. During the battle, they took a key shipyard, freeing hundreds of human and alien prisoners forced to build weapons. Many of them joined Caldera's cause. One prisoner, a scared old man, looked at Cole with awe. "I knew your grandfather," he said. "He died saving my life. He said one day you'd return." Cole's heart tightened. He hadn't just inherited a blade. He had inherited a mission. A terrible choice. But war always demands sacrifice. During a sneak operation on a supply station, Caldera was captured by Council forces. Varan made an announcement. "The traitor princess will be executed in 2 days. The human, if he dares show his face, will be next." Cole stood before the rebel fleet, silent. Everyone waited for his words. "We go in," he said. "But it's a trap," one general argued. "They want to draw you out." "Then let them," Cole said. "I'd rather die fighting for someone I believe in than live hiding like a coward." Cheers erupted. The plan was risky, but Cole led it himself. They infiltrated the station under cloak. Inside, he fought through waves of guards, using both blades with fluid skill. He reached Caldera moments before her execution, cutting the chains that bound her hands. She looked at him, stunned. "You came." "I told you," he whispered. "I'm not running." The people rise. With Caldera free, the tide turned. More cities joined the rebellion. Workers laid down tools. Pilots turned their ships. Even parts of the royal army began switching sides. The people had seen too much. They saw a human who fought like one of their own. They saw a princess willing to die for truth. They saw hope. Varan, now desperate, activated a secret weapon, an ancient device stolen from the Vrask that could burn planets from orbit. He aimed it at Earth. Caldera screamed, "He's going to destroy your world." Cole's eyes burned. "Then we stop him. Now. The enemy of my enemy." The stars above Earth glowed like dying embers. On the edge of the system, Varan's stolen Vrask weapon charged with deadly power. It was massive. An ancient war station left behind by the Vrask centuries ago. Varan had reactivated it in secret, hoping to use it as the final threat. Inside the Ember Wing, Cole stood at the strategy table. The hologram of the weapon floated before him, spinning slowly. "If he fires that at Earth," Cole said, his voice low, "nothing will be left." Not even ashes. Caldera stepped forward. We have to destroy it. A commander shook his head. We don't have the firepower. That thing was built to destroy planets. Cole looked at the screen. His fists clenched. Then we find someone who does. The Vrask contact. That night, Cole sat alone in his chamber, staring at the twin blades on the table before him. Each one had saved his life. Each one held the weight of history. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A ripple of energy filled the room. Then, from the corner, a voice, low, broken, alien, echoed through the air. You are not him, but you carry his blood. Cole turned, already holding one blade. A tall figure stepped out of the shadows. Its body was armored in black bone. Its eyes glowed faint green. It looked like death, but it didn't attack. I am not here to fight, it said. Caldera and guards rushed into the room, but Cole held up a hand. Let him speak. The creature knelt slowly. I am Ravkor, of the ancient Vrask, one of the last who remembers your ancestor, J. Maddox. Everyone stared in shock. Caldera's voice was tight. Your kind destroyed Earth's connection to the stars. Ravkor nodded slowly. We were once your enemies, but not all of us wanted war. Some of us warned your kind. J. Maddox was one of the few who listened. Cole stepped closer. Then why are you here now? Because the weapon Varon stole is cursed, Ravkor said. It was locked away for a reason. If he fires it, he will not just destroy Earth. He will wake something far worse. The forgotten enemy. Ravkor explained. Long ago, the Vrask were not conquerors. They were guardians. They protected galaxies from a dark force called the Voidborn, creatures made of pure energy and shadow that devoured stars and minds alike. When the Vrask fell to civil war, the Voidborn fed on the chaos. The planet killer Varon had stolen was once used to seal a Voidborn rift. If fired now, it would break that seal. Caldera was stunned. He doesn't know. He doesn't care, Ravkor said. And if you don't stop him, this galaxy will fall. Cole stared at him, then at Caldera. If we help you stop Varon, will the Vrask fight beside us? Ravkor bowed his head. I will call the old clans. Enemies become allies. Hours later, strange new ships arrived, curved like claws, humming with dark blue energy. The Vrask fleet had come. The rebel soldiers aboard the Ember Wing were terrified at first. Many had lost family to Vrask attacks. Some even refused to fight beside them. But Cole stood before them and raised both blades. These are the weapons of my ancestors. One fought beside Caldera's bloodline, the other beside the Vrask. He looked at both alien races. I carry both now. If you trust me, we stand as one. If we fall apart, we die alone. The silence broke into cheers. The Vrask warriors saluted him with their bone spears. Caldera stepped beside Cole and said, Let's end this. Together. The assault on the war station. The plan was dangerous, but it was their only shot. Cole and Caldera would lead a team of elite soldiers, human, Xantharan, and Vrask, into the heart of the war station to shut it down manually. Meanwhile, the rebel fleet would distract Varon's forces in open space. As the assault began, space lit up with fire and debris. Hundreds of ships clashed in orbit while the Ember Wing dropped its strike team near the station's core. Inside, the halls were dark and cold. Automated defenses came to life. Lasers, drones, traps. Cole fought with both blades, faster than ever before. Caldera was beside him, cutting down machines with deadly grace. Ravkor took the lead, guiding them through old maps and secret doors. The final confrontation. Near the core of the weapon, they found him. Varon, dressed in black, eyes filled with madness. The core behind him pulsed with power, seconds away from firing. You came, he laughed. How noble, how foolish. Caldera stepped forward. Stop this, Varon. You don't know what you're unleashing. He grinned. I know exactly what I'm unleashing. Fear, power, the end of weakness. He pressed a button. The core began to open. Cole didn't hesitate. He charged. The final fight was brutal. Varan was fast, enhanced by alien tech and dark energy. But Cole was faster. He used both blades like they were part of him, dancing between strikes. Kelra backed him up, blocking blasts and countering blows. Ravkor faced off against corrupted Vrask guards. In the final moment, Cole pinned Varan down. Both blades crossed at his throat. Varan smiled. "You won't kill me. You're too soft." Cole looked him dead in the eye. "You're wrong." One blade struck. Varan collapsed, lifeless. The seal holds. The team reached the core controls. With Ravkor's help, they locked the weapons systems and reactivated the ancient seal. The Voidborn were held back, for now. As they left the station, the rebel fleet cheered. The war was over. A crown forged in fire. Back on Senthara, the people gathered in the royal square. Kelra stood before the crowd. "I was born to be your princess," she said, "but I choose to be your queen." She turned to Cole. "And I choose him to stand beside me, not as a ruler, but as a partner, as a protector of peace." The people bowed. Even the council, now broken, did not resist. Cole stepped forward, both blades in his hands. "I don't need a throne," he said, "but I will defend this galaxy with everything I am." Kelra took his hand, and in that moment, two bloodlines, one alien, one human, became one. Blade, blood, and bond. The sun rose over Xanthara for the first time in what felt like years. Golden, soft, and warm. Not just over the land, but over the people. The war was over. The rebellion had won. And deep inside the capital, in the royal palace of black stone and silver light, Cole Maddox stood quietly in front of a tall mirror. He adjusted the dark robe across his shoulders, unfamiliar with the way it felt. Not like armor, not like chains. Like freedom. His hands still bore scars. His face held shadows from battle. But there was peace in his eyes. The door opened behind him. Kelra stepped in. She wore ceremonial armor, beautiful, engraved with symbols from both Senthara and Earth. Her red eyes sparkled. Her hair was braided with gold threads. She walked toward him slowly. "It's time," she said. He nodded, but he didn't move right away. "Do you think they'll ever accept me?" he asked. Kelra touched his face. "They already have." The ceremony of fire and stone. In the royal court, thousands had gathered. Sentharans, humans, Vrask, and many others. Flags from new worlds flew side by side. The twin blades were displayed on a platform of crystal. This was not a wedding of politics. This was something ancient, a bond of blood and purpose. Kelra stood before the crowd. "I was born into power," she said, "but I was blind to what true strength meant, until I met a human who stood against fear, who blowed without begging, who caught a blade meant to kill, and threw it back with honor." She turned to Cole. "Do you, Cole Maddox, stand beside me not as a king, but as a guardian of peace?" "I do." "And do you, Kelra of Xanthara, accept this bond not for rule, but for trust?" "I do." The priest of stars lifted the blades. Then by the twin weapons, one born of earth, one of fire, we declare this bond sealed. As the blades crossed above their heads, the crowd erupted in cheers. But something else happened. The blades glowed. Brightly. Too brightly. The spark within. Cole stepped back in shock. The two blades vibrated in his hands. They rose into the air on their own, spinning, forming a perfect circle of light. A symbol appeared in midair. A circle of stars. A map. Kelra gasped. "That's not just decoration." Cole stared. "It's a path." The priest fell to his knees. "It's the gate of origins." The map glowed brighter, showing a distant corner of the galaxy. Unknown, uncharted. Rafkor stepped forward from the shadows, his voice low and tense. The Voidborn. They didn't come from darkness. They were born from something ancient, something buried. That gate leads to where it all began. A new mission. The celebration turned to quiet whispers. The meaning was clear. The war was won, but the threat wasn't over. The Blades had awakened not to end a story, but to begin the next. Kalra looked at Cole. This was never just about saving one world, she said. It was about protecting them all. Cole nodded slowly. I'll go. I'm coming with you, she said. They didn't need to ask. The people didn't try to stop them. Some heroes don't sit on thrones. They chase stars. Legacy of the Twin Blades. Before they left, Cole visited the Maddox bunker on Earth one last time. He left a message, recorded for the generations to come. If you're hearing this, then you're part of something greater. My name is Cole Maddox. I was a soldier. Then I became a prisoner. Then a fighter. And somehow, a symbol. But I'm not special. I just didn't run. And neither should you. The last scene. The starship Novavow launched from Xanthera's orbit, fast, sleek, and powered by both alien and human tech. Inside it stood Cole and Kalra, side by side. Two blades rested in a sealed case, humming softly. As they flew toward the edge of known space, toward the gate of origins, Kalra smiled. You really caught that blade, she whispered. Cole grinned. And now you've caught me. They held hands as the stars opened wide in front of them. Together. Ready. For whatever came next.